Anchor protocol. This one is a little bit of a beast. In terms of passive income, this might be one of the finest little solutions for passive income on the blockchain. I want to talk about this because there's a lot to look at. Before I do, as always, I update the spreadsheet, just the first 26 coins I spoke about in the channel. If you invest $100 into each one when I release the videos and you're still holding all that crypto, you'd be in profit for over 53 grand. It is not what I hold anymore. If you want to see what I hold, you can come check out Copy My Cryptos, where I share the coins I buy, the coins I sell. I talk about how I'm navigating the sort of market at the moment in particular as well, because obviously there's so much uncertainty in the market. So how am I boosting my passive income, or how am I preparing in case the market goes super bearish? How am I preparing in case the market starts going super bullish? All of these things are done emotionlessly, because if you are amped up in emotion when you're making trades or when you're making decisions about financial investments, that's when things go wrong. And if you're having a hard time figuring out how to navigate the markets at the moment, then you may want to come check out Copy My Crypto. The link is in the description. So Anchor Protocol actually ran really well. When we look at it over the year, you know, when it launched, it launched at about $3.30, ran up all the way up to about $7.40, retraced throughout the summer. You know, when everything retraced. It also then retraced hard throughout January and February, and has since rallied really well. In fact, from the bottom of February, we were looking at like $1.33. So it's actually trebled in price in the past sort of 6 weeks or so. Not even 6 weeks, 4 weeks, which is pretty good. So what's Anchor Protocol, if you're unfamiliar? So Anchor Protocol is a platform on Terra blockchain that offers low volatile yields to users who deposit UST, which is Terra's stablecoin. So it's a lending and borrowing protocol on the Terra blockchain. It uses an over-collateralized architecture to allow users to lend, borrow, and earn interest with their digital assets. Anchor, the whole premise is it's a savings protocol that enables fast withdrawals and pays depositors a low volatility interest rate, which is amongst the highest amongst any stablecoin, 19.5%. And I think right now it's about 19.41%. Obviously, there's an abundance of DeFi right now, but Anchor is actually fairly unique. So Anchor was created on as one of the first protocols on Terra. It's a savings platform that gives dividends based on block rewards from key proof-of-stake blockchains. It has principal-protected stablecoin savings product that delivers a consistent interest rate to depositors. The beauty is obviously, you know, it's a percentage yield like 20% effectively across a year is bloody good. So there's a ton of different asset classes and different functions within their ecosystem. So they've got bonded asset, which is a tokenized stake on a proof-of-stake blockchain. It also symbolizes ownership of a staked proof-of-stake asset. They've also got lending and borrowing, and you can utilize those. You know, you can start borrowing and utilize the things you've borrowed to stake for a better yield and pay back a borrowing at a very, very low interest rate. So it's an opportunity really to utilize some collateral to get more crypto, to earn more yield, to pay back what you borrowed. But one thing I particularly like is they also have contracts for liquidation. Now, this is quite different. So if consumers don't want to deposit or borrow, they can join the Anchor liquidation pool. So it's a high risk, high reward product that offers liquidation funding for Anchor debt holdings. Liquidation contract authors can make money from both passive premiums and liquidation fees paid on contract execution. So it's a nice way to potentially earn capital without necessarily borrowing anything. Obviously with higher risk though, but the rewards are higher. The whole premise of Anchor is literally solving the problem that we all have acknowledged with banks. If shit goes wrong in a bank, they might not give you your money. We saw that in 2000, like when the market completely crashed during the mortgage crisis. Um, right now, you're looking at a 0.1% yield per year if you're lucky. Um, and fundamentally, borrowing is damn near, well, it's a lot more difficult in a bank compared to something like Anchor Protocol. So when we actually check out through their white paper is really thorough. It actually reminds me of quite like a uni paper in the sense of the abstract and everything else. Now, again, so they go through how they calculate sort of the yield percentages, which is pretty much based on a consistent moving average across 12 months. Now, in terms of what, again, I said really I find quite interesting is this liquidation contracts. Now, they're not ready yet, I don't believe. So when we actually go through the dashboard, what we can see is, the amount of money that is already sort of accrued into Anchor. So total value locked is 14.1 billion. And that's a deposit of around 8.5 billion and 5.6 billion in collateral. Anchor have a buyback situation in terms of it. So every 72 hours, there's about 70. So far, there's been 79,000 buyback and 290,000 US dollars or UST buyback, and that is across the total amount of time. So what we're actually seeing, particularly in the past month or so, or is this really starting to run, or certainly in the last 6 weeks, that we've really seen the Anchor protocol rally in terms of usage. I mean, in the last 4 and a bit weeks, we've seen another 3.5 billion added in terms of deposits. We've also seen another 1.2 billion added in terms of borrowing. So deposit APY right now is 19.41%. That's pretty good. Borrowing APR is 13.94. So again, just off of that base rate, there's a good arbitrage scenario there. And it's something a lot of people, I'm sure, are doing. Now, within Anchor, we've got different functionalities. So you've got the governance. So 35 point, I don't know why 16 came. 35.77% of Anchor is actually staked. And the yield is 10.28%, which is pretty good. The APR is actually very good for the liquidity pool token, but obviously with the liquidity pool tokens, there are risks. I tend to say avoid that at all costs. But then when we start going through the earn premise, so like I said, 19.41% is not too bad. I mean, that is APY, so that's based on a daily compounding across a year. But that's frigging good. That's the best, or certainly one of the best percentage returns that we'll see in DeFi. It's very, very strong. When we look at their Bassets, it's Luna/Luna and BETH/WebETH. And these the assets have been transferred to Terra through the wormhole. Must go through the convert operation to be used as collateral on Luna. So that's worth bearing in mind. But that is effectively what you can use as collateral. Borrowing, obviously, so they're talking about net APR here. So that's the distribution APR minus the borrow APR. So when the net APR is a positive number, Anchor rewards distributed to borrowers are greater than the interest to be paid for the loan. So just simply taking the loan out right now, you've got an arbitrage there because you're paying back less than what you're earning. It doesn't mean that that's always going to be the case. Everyone needs to understand whenever you're utilizing these kind of things is that APYs and APRs can change. And when they do, you need to be prepared to be able to pay stuff back. That's how people end up getting liquidated, is they're not aware that their percentage yields have changed and they're no longer profitable. But right now, I mean, Anchor is looking legitimately good. And the level of growth that we've seen in the past 4 weeks, or 4.5 weeks now, is exceptionally impressive. It's about more than 50%. You know, the total deposit has gone up like 70% since January 30th. The total borrowed has more than doubled since January 30th. So DeFi, or certainly the Anchor protocol for DeFi, is exploding because those percentage yields are very, very good. But if you are using it, just keep an eye, make sure that the APR doesn't drop and you're not at risk of liquidation. Because liquidation is obviously going to be the thing that gets some people when they borrow more than they can afford to borrow, or when they put themselves in too high a risked position because of borrowing. So when we actually take a look, so Anchor over the course of December experienced meteoric growth, surpassing the 10 billion mark in total value locked, with over 2.6 billion in UST deposits. So obviously since then there's been a hell of an increase, because now there's 14, so that's up another 40% since the end of December. In terms of cross-chain Anchor, the new ideas of cross-chain Anchor is going to be that it will enable users on Ethereum virtual machine compatible chains like Ethereum and Solana to natively borrow UST without needing to bridge assets. Obviously, users can then interact with the UI on Anchor similar to UIs on their native chain. So it simplifies and improves the borrowing experience. Yeah, I mean, this is pretty damn good. Pretty damn good. In terms of new features, Risk Harbor launches decentralized ozone protection for a UST on Anchor for a 2% premium. Yeah, there's a few little interesting ones there. But all in, right? In like their conclusion from their white paper was, we've presented Anchor, a savings protocol on the Terra blockchain powered by a money market that is collateralized by tokenized stakes. The protocol defines the Anchor rate derived from the yield of the market's highest demand proof of stake assets as the blockchain's economy interest rate benchmark. And Anchor utilizes the block rewards of B assets to offer depositors a stable return equal to the Anchor rate. We believe that Anchor's simplicity and robustness make it a fitting answer to the search for a household savings product powered by crypto. And you can't disagree. What will be interesting is the other asset classes that we start seeing incorporated, because there are a ton of really strong crypto projects that are proof of stake, that offer some really intriguing premise. So down the line, I'd be expecting that we probably start seeing the incorporation of, say, your Phantom or your eGold potentially, or to be fair, was it Zilliqa? Zilliqa's got a pretty decent staking as well. There's a ton of really top quality projects that have very good staking that could be utilized as a tokenized asset effectively. So it'll be interesting to see how that develops, because no doubt about it, they're going to keep developing this protocol. This is sort of Terra's answer to Aave, but with a yield that's staggeringly good. I mean, make no mistake about it, guys. Right now, your money is always better off earning interest somewhere else. And 19.41% per year is staggeringly good. What can Terra Anchor do down the line? A $10 token seems fairly inevitable. Even right now, that would only put it on 2.5. It's basically 2.6 billion. Yeah, there's going to be a max supply of 1 billion, but not for a bloody while. Yeah, this is one to have on your radar. And to be honest, if you are sitting on a ton of stable coins while you're waiting to get into the market, putting them into something where you're going to get a significant yield is worthwhile doing. And at least with something like this, you're not at the behest of a centralized entity like, say, your BlockFi or Nexus or Nexo, sorry, or any of the others. So something to consider, because this looks like the best passive income tool around, particularly for a stable coin, because it's not going to lose its value, so you're sorted. So yeah, something to consider. Yeah. And basically, one AUST is considered 1.203 UST as well. So you're getting better yield. It's not bad. Yeah, have it on your radar. If you've got stable coins, get them utilized. This is the best protocol I've seen in terms of DeFi returns so far, although I keep looking. Anyway, if you're new to crypto, or you've been in crypto a while, not happy with how you're navigating the markets, come check out Copy My Cryptos, where I share every coin I buy, every coin I sell the moment I do, along with how I'm preparing for what is a very uncertain market at the moment. So whether it's preparing for bear or bull, I go through that, and if it will help you navigate these markets, you may want to check it out. Link is in the description, guys. Anyway, take it easy. Bye-bye.